Hey, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into personal finance, but maybe not in the way you're used to. We're not going to be talking just about spreadsheets and budgets. Instead, we're exploring the timeless principles that actually lead to real financial peace. So let's get into it. You ever wonder about this? It's a really puzzling question, isn't it? I mean, we have more access to financial information than ever before. Apps, books, YouTube videos, you name it. And yet so many of us are stressed about money. It kind of tells you that the problem isn't a lack of information. It's something else entirely, something deeper. And right here, this is our core idea for today. This verse from Romans lays out a really powerful contrast. Now, a carnal mind just means being focused on the here and now, on short-term wants, on facts without a bigger picture. But a spiritual mind, that's one guided by real wisdom and truth. And that is what leads to a life of peace, including with our money. All right, so let's start with the big problem here. Why is just knowing more stuff not the actual answer? I mean, think about it. Our culture is great at teaching us what to do, but it often forgets to teach us why it's the right thing to do. It separates education from any kind of moral foundation. The source material argues this leads to a world full of really clever people who just don't have any peace and end up making choices that hurt themselves. It's like without wisdom, knowledge can just be a faster car on the road to trouble. So, what's the very first step on this wiser path? Well, it's something incredibly simple, but also incredibly profound: the discipline of saving. This ancient proverb just nails the point perfectly, doesn't it? Wisdom isn't about being complicated. It's about having foresight. It's about being disciplined. The wise person prepares for tomorrow, while the foolish person just lives for the moment. Saving money today is the exact same thing as storing up that food and oil. It's a simple, practical act of wisdom. And the number one tool for this? A simple savings account. It's just a secure place for your money that does something pretty amazing. It pays you a little bonus, which we call interest, just for being disciplined enough to save. The whole system is set up to reward that wise choice. So let's see how this works. Let's imagine a young guy named Jacob. He wisely puts $1,000 into a savings account. And let's say his account earns 2% interest over the year. The bank just adds $20 to his account. Now that's not money he had to work for, it's money his money earned for him, bringing his new total to $1,020. Now I know it might not sound like a huge amount, but this is the tiny seed of something incredibly powerful called compounding. This is the first real step toward building financial peace. Okay, so that same wisdom has to apply to our spending too. And when it comes to spending our money, we basically come to a fork in the road. And that fork is represented by two very different tools: debit cards and credit cards. They are not the same thing at all. They really represent two completely different mindsets. The difference is just fundamental. A debit card, that uses your money. It comes straight out of your bank account. There's nothing you have to repay later. A credit card, on the other hand, uses the credit card company's money. It's a loan. You absolutely have to pay it back, and if you're not on time, they start adding interest charges. And these two examples show the two mindsets perfectly. You've got Peter, who's using his debit card to buy groceries. He's living within his means. He's spending what he actually has. That is the path of wisdom. Then you have Mary. She's using credit, but notice how she's using it: for a real emergency, and she has a clear, disciplined plan to pay it right back. It's not for a shopping spree. It's a careful, planned action. But what happens when credit isn't used that cautiously? Well, this is where the wisdom from Scripture gives us a very, very serious warning. This might be one of the most powerful financial statements ever written. Think about that phrase: the borrower is the slave of the lender. That's not just a poetic metaphor. When you're in debt, your time, your hard work, your future paychecks, they don't fully belong to you anymore. They belong to the person or the company that you owe. And this is exactly how that trap works. It starts so simply. You borrow a little more than you have. Then, those interest charges get tacked on, so your balance starts growing all by itself, even if you stop spending. Pretty soon, your monthly payments are just struggling to keep up with the interest, and they're eating away at the income you need for your actual life. And step by step, your financial freedom and your peace of mind are just gone. So let's pull all of this together. How do we actually stay on that path of wisdom, the one that leads to life and peace? Here's the big takeaway. Real financial peace doesn't come from becoming an expert in some complex stock market system or finding a get-rich-quick scheme. It comes from applying really simple, unchanging truths to your life. Save for the future, live on what you actually have, and avoid the trap of debt. It's that foundation of wisdom, not just worldly knowledge, that guides you to make the right choices day in and day out. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Just imagine a world where our education system, for our kids and for us, didn't just teach facts and skills, but also taught the moral and spiritual wisdom to use them for good. What kind of peace could that bring, not just to our own finances, but to all of society? It's something to think about.